So this is some ground that was reclaimed in '86. This had a tipple site on it that had a big gob pile that was actually had a bunch of bad heavy metal stuff in it, and was kind of leaching out. And so DNR come in and fixed this in '86. This is one of a couple sites on our place where they did that. But you can kind of see now grass is pretty thick. Grass wasn't honestly like that till after we got to running goats here. The goat urine and poop has really been good for us on stuff. This is kind of that's a strip pit that's left over. Like I said, this has got some lily pads on the side of it because it's shallow where they push the side off, but that strip pit is fairly deep. I mean, that's about 25, 30 foot deep in most places. Just makes for looks like a little river, but it's not. Just a little stationary pond there. We've got about 80 acres of those on our place, of 80 acres of surface water, and makes for some really nice fishing, makes for some kind of diverse stuff. But this is going to be a field that we're going to put the Milo in and change things up. But just wanted to show it to you and kind of let you see what is growing in it. I mean, there's clovers down in there. It's really gotten pretty diverse, and it's gotten way more diverse, honestly, since the last 3 years we've run goats in it. When we first got the place in 2015, this particular field was nothing but briars and trees, and just was no grass growing in it whatsoever. Pretty darn rough field, and this is kind of the way it's come back. It's kind of getting back to really what God intended to be, getting to be more nature, getting to be more of the native grasses in and stuff like that. And like I said, the soil is thin on it. It's not, it's deep. Of course, this has all been disturbed down 50, 60 foot, but it's not got good water retention capacity on it. It gets heated up very quickly, and that's why we're going to do the no-till Milo deal and really work on the Milo cover crop grazing rotations to fix things up and make this a more viable farm. So like I said, this was the reclaimed ground. This was what we had goats on. We pulled them off April 15th. You'll find clovers. You'll find some fescue. There's some orchard grass. There's cheatgrass. There's weeds. That's bare ground, and it doesn't look like much. It looks like little rocks, which is mostly shale, and some sandstone, and then clay. But it has it was reclaimed in 2019. So it come from looking like that in 2019. That's where they just strip tilled and just left windrows and stuff. It come from that to actually looking like this, which is a far cry different from what it even looked just a couple of years ago. Goats have been pretty good for us, which I never thought we'd ever have goats and never thought we'd ever really be using them the way we do. But that's been a very good part of the mix of getting this better than what we are right now. And like I said, our goal is to kind of go in and we're going to no-till into this heavy stuff. This is all kind of knee-high. Some is a little bit bigger than that. There's some Charissa in that we want to get rid of. But the goal is we're going to try to go in and no-till our Milo into this and then let that melt down and make a mat, help conserve moisture, keep the ground cool, and help that Milo really thrive. And then, like I said, the Milo is going to be mainly used for roots. We want that root structure to help build organic matter and help build soil. And then we're also composting to go back on this, and that's going to be in another deal. We'll kind of talk about our compost type stuff, but that's going to be the primary method of helping build the soil quicker. Is going to be quite a few tons of compost that we're building on this place. So between livestock and compost, we've got some other ideas we'll throw at you down the road, but that's kind of the journey we're on, and that's some of the things we're going to be doing. I'll kind of take you around and show you a little bit of other spots on here just so you kind of get an idea what we're looking at. But this is one field. Like I said, this was reclaimed in 2019, and that's what it kind of looked like beforehand, was just like that. So stick around and we'll look at. This is what those piles kind of look like if you scan down. They're fairly tall. There's quite a bit of matter in here. I have a picture of these where these were completely open in the 50s. Looked like white sand dunes had just been mined and kind of cleaned up. And now there's been trees on them long enough that, there is some actual soil building in the forest deal. You can kind of see remnants of the goats here that's still melting down, but we ran the goats through a lot of these trees. They stripped cedar trees very well. One further back in there stripped out. But that's how this ground looked before it was reclaimed. This is one field we're going to be working with coming up. That there's kind of a pile of wood chips down there in the middle of that. We're going to be taking the wood chips and broadcasting across this field. This was just reclaimed, just finished up this spring, just the first part of May. And so we've still got some leveling to do, get rid of some water holes, stuff like that. But this will be one, we'll get the wood chips spread on there, we'll get them incorporated in, and then we'll start the process of building soil on this. So this will be part of the journey you're going to be watching through this Regeneration Station, if you want to call it that. And you'll see kind of what we're doing, and maybe there'll be ideas that you can use for yourself. But this is kind of the ground we're dealing with. It's clay, rock, shale, just a pretty good mix of stuff. But it'll hopefully one day you're going to come back and look at this and you go, wow, look at the soil that's on that place, and I can do the same kind of principles and change our farm too. So hopefully you maybe got a brief glimpse of what we're looking at. I'll continue to keep showing you stuff every week as we change and do things differently. And just hope you, in your farming endeavors, think about what God laid out here for us and left us to be in charge of, and utilize that to our best ability and be the best stewards we can with it. And I just kind of pray that everyone that does watch this can learn something. And if you've got questions or answers, feel free to message us and let us know what you want to know or what you want to hear. And thank you for watching.